God is going to test you, and he's going to see if you really are the man you say you are. It's easy to say you're a tough guy, then God's going to put you in a position where you get a chance to prove you're a tough guy. I didn't miss a single day's training. I did not miss a single day's push-ups in that cell. I wasn't too depressed to train. I wasn't too sad to train, too anxious to train, too frustrated to train. I trained endlessly every single day. And it's interesting you talk about movies because it's true. Every single hero in every single movie goes through adversity. There's never been a hero movie where all he does is win. No, to be a hero, you have to suffer. And this can be extrapolated out, not just about my life, but about all men out there. If you're suffering in some degree, even if you're a normal guy with a normal job and you're suffering at your job, or you've had your heart broken because your girl left you, or whatever, if you're suffering, that's part of your hero's journey. There is no hero's journey without suffering. If you have an easy life the whole way through, you never get to be a hero. That's the whole point of being a man, is that you're supposed to suffer. You're supposed to eat pain for breakfast. You're supposed to come and grow into a better version of yourself. That's exactly what life's supposed to be about as a man. And another thing I want to say, when you mentioned that movie that popped to my head, I find it amazing that men will sit and watch movies about prisoners of war in Japan, or watch movies about men who go to war and risk their lives, or watch all these hero movies, and they have admiration for the hero, and they believe themselves to be some version of a hero, and then they're too afraid to say no to putting on a mask. If you're not going to say no to putting on a mask, don't watch hero movies anymore, because you're certainly not a hero. You are one of the villains. You're not even one of the important villains. You're not even one of the villains with a name. You're the stupid little henchmen who get beaten up. Those guys who are on screen for a flash of a second and die without consequence. Nobody even cares or mentions them again. Their family don't even get to give them a funeral. They're nobodies. You're a nobody villain. You're not even an important one. The important villains, we know their names. You're a number. You're not a name. If you're going to watch superhero movies, don't put a mask on your fucking face. And if you want to be a superhero in life, you need to understand that for 80% of the movie, you're going to suffer. For 80% of the movie, you're going to lose. Watch any superhero movie. For 80% of the movie, it is nothing but pain and frustration and difficulty. And when your life is that way, you have a chance to grow into something fantastic, and you should thank God for every difficult thing he puts in your path. Yeah, so I knew the guards were watching me, and I'm stubborn, and I believe that every time I did push-ups and they saw me doing them, I believed in my heart it annoyed them. And I am a very stubborn man, because they wanted me to be sad and broken. But every time they saw me, I was sweating and training. And every single time they'd check, they saw nothing but a lion who refused to stop doing push-ups. And they didn't want to do push-ups. They were too lazy. They're sitting around. They're the guards. They're not doing anything. And every single time they checked me for weeks and weeks and weeks, all I did was train. And I found the motivation to do it by knowing that it bothered them that I refused to quit. I'm stubborn like that. I don't even know if it's true. All I know is that I can adopt a mental model which makes me as competitive as possible, and I decided my push-ups bothered them, and they were the ones who were keeping me locked in a room, so I will do push-ups at them. I didn't do push-ups for me. I did push-ups at them endlessly. If I was awake, I was doing push-ups, or I was resting, preparing for my next set at them. It was my only weapon of defiance. A man is unfairly imprisoned in a Romanian jail cell and trained so hard he emerges stronger than ever before. That is a movie. You get to live a movie as a man if all you had was some balls. Even you, think about your movie. You're literally saving the world, predicting the future. Our movies, I'm the most Googled man alive. We are living movie scripts. Why? Because we have bravery. Most men sit there and wonder why they're depressed, because you don't get to live a movie. You're not the main character of anything. You're not even a secondary character in anyone else's movie. You're an unimportant nobody because you were afraid your entire life. You've lived like a coward your whole life. You were afraid of what might happen if you have some balls. And then you wonder why you're depressed. I'd be depressed if I was you. Of course, your life sucks. I'd rather go to jail as me than live free as you, because when you're free, you can't even do anything. You can't go where you want. You're broke. You can't have sex. Girls don't want you. You can't speak because no one listens. So what are you free to do? You're more in jail than I ever was. When I was in jail, I was getting thousands of love letters from beautiful women around the world. Every single tweet I put out was watched by millions of people. I wasn't in jail. You're more in jail than I ever was. When I was in jail, I was getting thousands of love letters from beautiful women around the world. Every single tweet I put out was watched by millions of people. I wasn't in jail. 50 to 100 million people. Exactly. Most of these people who have lived with cowardice in an attempt to preserve their freedom aren't even free. And that's what they don't understand. They're enslaved worse than I ever have been or ever will be. My mind is free. I'm allowed to think what I want to think and say what I want to say. They have thoughts and they go, don't know if I should say that. They second guess themselves. They're their own worst enemy. Every single part of me is on my team. I have enemies who want me dead. Fine. But every single part of me, my mind, my hands, my legs, every single part of me is on my team. My body doesn't second guess itself. My mind doesn't turn on itself. We don't break and self-sabotage. There's no civil wars inside of Andrew Tate. All of us against you. All of us. Well, absolutely it's backfiring, because that's the worst thing you do to a teenage boy, say, don't watch this man. And the thing that they don't understand, because these people are so disconnected from reality, all of these people are genuinely disconnected. They don't understand that my message makes people feel better. I teach men to be strong. I teach men how to make money. I teach men how to be confident, how to be motivated, how to be disciplined, how to be diligent, how to be hardworking. If a man adopts these qualities and applies them to his life will get better. This isn't a matter of just consuming content on the internet. This is a matter of people's lives genuinely changing their day-to-day reality. If that happens, if somebody's day-to-day reality changes because they're a fan of me and they listen to my content, who do you think you are to come along and tell them to stop and go back to misery? It's never going to work. It's never going to work. And the reason I'm so heavily demonized is not because the things I say, it's because I am so massively influential. And when I'm teaching these young men, these young boys, to have any degree of standard for themselves, any degree of parameter for what they will accept inside of their minds, they see that as a threat to the slave programming. If a man stands up for himself and has self-respect, he doesn't want to wear a mask because he respects himself. He doesn't want to take antidepressants. He respects himself. He doesn't want to eat the bugs. He respects himself. They don't want men to have self-respect. We're not allowed to have self-respect. We have to sit there and be completely empty vessels waiting for the slave programming to be plugged in, so we'll comply. That's all they want, is compliance. And that's why me, as a man who stands up and says, listen, you should become as strong as possible. You should believe in yourself. You should be motivated. And you should also try to make as much money as possible, because money is a very important weapon in the fight against slavery. I am seen as public enemy number one for genuinely improving people's lives. That's how evil these people are. Absolutely. Strong men make women happy. I get called a misogynist all the time for telling men to have standards. Men with standards and principle and capability and competence make women happy. The number one way to improve female mental health is to make men better men. And the reason they don't want men to be strong and have any kind of control over their relationships or their households is very simple. Females are easier to sway with an emotional argument. If you have a bunch of households which are run by women and the woman is in charge, and then the woman is going to sit and watch an emotional argument, propaganda, which is all that the MSM use. They can't use logical arguments, so they use emotional ones. Put the mask on for grandma. Well, grandma's 98, and 98-year-olds unfortunately die of diseases. And telling a 6-year-old kid to put a mask on, or a 21-year-old strong man to put a mask on because 98-year-old grandma might get sick, doesn't even make any logical sense. But it's an emotional argument, and women fall for emotional arguments easier than men. So how do you control a populace? It's very simple. You subdue the men, you make the women in charge, you make a matriarchy, and then you use emotional arguments via the propaganda mechanisms, because women are more likely to agree with them, and then you have the entire population under control. That's why it's done on purpose. They don't want a man to have any degree of control over anything in his life. Not even his own house. You can't even be the king of your own household anymore. And it's making women miserable. It's making men miserable. It makes the entire populace miserable. And that's another thing I want people to understand. Misery is also a very key component to their slave agenda. Because when you're truly miserable, you are selfish. You don't care about anything that happens outside of yourself. People say that you and I perhaps were angry people, but I'll tell you something. We're positive people because we care. We care about what happens to our country. We care about what happens to our cities. We care about what happens to the future for our children. When you're truly miserable and truly sad, you're self-obsessed. You don't care about anything but yourself. They want us all miserable on antidepressants, eating the bugs, watching the TV shows. Because then when something happens down the street that's not supposed to happen, we don't care. Oh, yeah, well, the store down the street got robbed and my town's on fire, but I'm sad anyway. They want us all selfish, because when we're selfish, you can't band together to resist anything. It's a good question. And they are the end result of a very sophisticated propaganda machine, which has been built with the sole intention of creating miserable drones which will believe anything they are told. These people can be told the sky is green and they'll believe it. And all of the propaganda which is being pumped their way is negative. The world is going to end because the sun is hot. Don't have kids. That's bad for some reason. Don't eat meat. Only eat the bugs. sit at home. You should have a therapist. You should be on antidepressants. Like, they're just trying to pump nothing but negativity of these people, and they absorb it. And this is what I said to one of my friends. My friend said, Andrew, you've been through so much for telling the truth. Why do you do it? And I say, well, you either fight against the injustice and tell the truth and you suffer the consequences of that, or you believe the bullshit and suffer the consequences of being at war with your own mind and your own biology and end up miserable anyway. There is a war that cannot be escaped, and I would rather live true to God and tell the truth and fight the war this way. But it's truly incredible that these leftists do what they do. And I also think there's something that global about the world that most people don't understand. The people who are in charge of the planet, who are in charge of global finance and make all the important decisions, and who are in charge of money, they are called globalists for a reason. They have no particular interest in any one country. All they care about is control and maximizing profits. And I don't think many people understand that. For a long time, we've been exploiting the second and third worlds because someone has to lose for another person to win. There's no light without dark. We've been exploiting the second and third worlds for a long time to be prosperous in the West, and that's now changing for a variety of reasons, which will be a very long conversation. But the globalists have no problem exploiting the first world and simply turning it on its head, destroying the societies of America, destroying the societies of Europe, doing whatever they need to do to make endless and forever profit, and they'll simply move to a penthouse in another part of the world. They have no problem to move to Africa, or they have no problem moving to the Middle East. They have no problem to live in Asia. As long as they get forever profits and billions of dollars, they'll let Europe burn. And all of these leftist policies are designed to create a slave class of people which have no interest in trying to preserve the sanctity of the nations they live within.
The reason you don't stand a chance with her is because I met her first. If you had met her first, perhaps she would enslave herself to a 9-to-5 for your jokes, and you'd be together for like 8 months, and by then you would have got her pregnant or something, and then it'd be too late because I wouldn't want her. You know? Your only hope of outcompeting a man like me is to get in first. If me and you date a girl on the same day, it's done. For all of you. You don't stand a chance, none of you. Your jokes, you're funny, I'm the most famous man on the planet. It's over. But if you meet her first, and I don't meet her for a long time, you can get your little pee-pee in and out. You might pull something off. You gotta be first if you're not exceptional. Even if you're the same as all the other trees, if you're not first, you end up with no leaves. See the rhyme I just wrote? I guess the story here is that most of you are so brutally unremarkable, your only chance of ever succeeding ever is to simply know things other people don't know. That's your only hope. That's it. And the worst thing about this is that you unremarkable idiots, when you're told something that other people don't know, you, because you don't understand how unremarkable you are, don't listen. Imagine that as your only chance. Because you're an idiot. If you looked in the mirror and said, yeah, I walk around the mall and I see people pretty much just like me. I ain't shit. I better pay attention when somebody important tells me something. But instead you look in the mirror and go, well, my girlfriend thinks I'm special. I listen to her lip gloss recommendations. So you're a dumbass. And then someone will come along and say to you, hey, I can teach you something. I can give you a chance to become a remarkable individual. Well, I don't know. I think maybe I'm already remarkable. And you end up like this fucking tree. I'm going to tell you something all of you already know. And I'm going to predict the future perfectly, because I always have and always will. You already know the artificial intelligence is going to be implemented in every single element of our lives. You already know that. That's an accepted fact for anyone with a brain. You already know that the brightest minds on this planet, including me, perhaps the brightest mind, along with the most powerful entities and largest finance pools which exist, are dedicating monumental resource towards artificial intelligence, and their primary objective is to replace humanity, replace humans. So most of you are going to become useless. Side note, you should study what happens to useless people in history. It's really interesting. Because there's been a bunch of times in history when something changed and then you had these huge swaths of the population that had no purpose. You should look up what happened to them, because the same thing happened to all of them every single time throughout all the time periods, throughout the entire globe, no matter where they were geographically or where they were chronologically, they all ended up fucking murdered. Interesting. So you're thinking it's going to be fine. Oh, they'll just give me a pod and they'll give me my bugs and they'll let me just sit in my pod with my bugs. No, they'll get rid of you because they don't need you. And you're annoying. You have opinions. You're protesting now. I want a job. I want a job. You can have a bullet, idiot. Send the machines to get rid of you. So we're all moving towards AI. You understand this. I spoke about it on a previous emergency meeting about how AI is going to replace everything. AI will be the only business. There'll be no store without AI. There'll be no YouTube channel without AI. There'll be no crypto without AI. There will be no service without AI, no product without AI. AI is absolutely everything. So you need to learn about AI to stand any chance at all. This is somebody giving you a heads up, Mr. Average Tree. Because if you become last, once you've worked out that you need to know about these things, they're going to have no leaves. I'll be fucking your girl. Then they'll kill you. So, this logic is bulletproof. It's very easy to see. I will teach you everything I use in all of my companies about artificial intelligence for $49. 49 measly dollars. I'll teach you all you need to know. And you know, let's continue talking. Why do I do that? I've always been the kind of person who liked to objectively verify his worldviews. So, for example, if I woke up and thought I was fantastic, I needed reason to think it. I couldn't be arrogant and say, I'm fantastic. Why? I just am. God loves me, bro. Those people are losers. I'd sit and say, well, let me go kick the shit out of people and become a kickboxing world champion so I can prove I'm better than others. I'll do anything it takes to prove I'm the best. Because then I get to say I'm the best and say, objectively it's true. Here's an objective fact. Look, I am the best at this. I am the most Googled man on the planet. The numbers show it. Me. I think the reason I teach people how to make money so cost effectively for $49 is so that anyone can join. So when a poor person comes up to me, which is basically all of you, brokies, when you brokies come up to me and go, hey man, I'm a big fan. I'm like, hey, yeah. And they're like, oh, I want to be successful like you one day. I'm like, cool. Are you in Hustles University? No. So I just know you're a dickhead. I think the reason I do it is so that I have an instant dickhead filter. Are you in Hustles University? Yeah, I am. I made this much money. I made $10,000 last month. I'm actually in this campus. I can't wait to upgrade to the Champions program when I can enroll in this other campus. Cool. Are you in Hustles University? No. I want to be successful like you one day. Useless eaters. I've often questioned if I would, like when it all finally goes down and us elites, us globalists with all our money and all our houses and all our power and all our influence and all our control, we finally start shooting you. Would I just ignore it? Or would I actually, join in? Then I imagine all the people who come up to me, I'm not a member of Hustles University, but I want to be really rich, come follow. Probably. I have my disguise on, my hat. I get approached 80% less in a hat than I do if I don't wear one, because I think most people on the internet have never seen me in a hat before, so I guess I've blown my cover. And it's kind of interesting because the hat doesn't cover my face. It's just a slightly different appearance that people aren't used to seeing. So by the time they work out, is that me? Is that not him? Do I want to go say hello and it end up being the wrong person? I've managed to escape using Aikido. But I've always found it interesting that you could, with a very small change to your outside appearance, deceive people as to exactly who you are. And I was having a conversation the other day about the fact that I've come to a fairly controversial view. And I don't care how crazy I sound, but I actually believe once and for all that there are genuine demons walking amongst us. I believe it. I believe there are demons who are feeding on the negative energy and suffering from unhappy people who are amongst the populace, who manage to gain large swaths of control, and their primary objective and goal is to make us all as miserable as possible, because if they can do that, they can feed off the energy which is extracted from unhappy, negative, damaged people. They want war, they want sadness, they fear love, and I think they look very much like humans because they've made a few outside changes to the peripheral of their being, and people think, oh, they pass as human most of the time. But if you start to actually walk around, start to really pay attention to the people around you, you can spot the demons. You can see it. Don't let their little hat fool you. You can see who a demon is. Some of them actually make it extremely overtly obvious that they're demonic. They color their hair something ridiculous, or they mutilate their own body under the name of, I don't know what they're doing, affirming something. But some are slightly more difficult to spot. But I do believe that us as humans, we have this natural sense of danger. When we grew up or we had to survive in far harsher times, you could feel if a wolf was looking at you. And don't you feel that now? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I've just become ridiculously rich. I've become a billionaire and I've lost my mind. But if you were walking through a dark forest on your own and a wolf was looking at you, you could feel you were being watched. There's something inside of us that allowed us to know when a predator was near, so we stood a chance of fighting and resisting. And I feel that now all of the time. I feel like the demons are watching me. Don't you? Am I nuts? Don't you feel it? Genuinely go about your day now for the next 24 hours. Don't you feel like some of the people near you, that guy in Starbucks, the other person on the train, that guy over there, some of them just have bad intentions? Don't you think they're watching you? Don't you think they want you sad and miserable so they can feed off the negative emotion that you're going to expel into the universe? I feel watched, and I think the demons are watching me. And I know that demons exist because if you pay attention, you can see them. And a demon's primary goal is to destroy God's primary goal, of course, which is love. Which means the way you fight these people is via love. But then how do you make people love one another? Well, that seems like it would be an easy thing to do, but it turns out throughout all of human history, that's turned out to be pretty difficult. So you look at all this, and let's assume I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, none of it matters, but let's assume I'm right. If I am right, what is the solution to this entire conundrum? And the solution always comes back to basically the same things. It doesn't matter what problem you're in, it's going to take time and energy to fix it. Wouldn't you agree? And I have as much time and energy as a human can have. I am basically Superman. I am the top G, but I am human. So I need the time and energy of other people. I need a team. I need people around me. I need friends. I need a network. I need other people who understand what I understand. I need people walking beside me who can see the demons before I do. I need help. You can call them brothers, you can call them staff, you can call them a network, you can call them an army. But you need these people, and you need their time and energy. And what is time and energy of humans? Well, that is money. Money is nothing more than the stored time and energy of other people. $10 must be earned. $10 is worth X amount of time. $10 can get me X amount of time sweeping a floor. Time and energy of another human costs X amount of dollars. That's how money works. So to fight the demons, we need money. Well, we need the time and energy of humans. We need people to be spiritually aware. My money, and the fact that I have so much of it, is also one of the reasons you even listen to me. You're only watching this video because you know I'm a billionaire. If I didn't have Ferraris and a yacht and a jet, and I wasn't in crazy locations traveling the world, if I wasn't attacked by the Matrix, the demons themselves trying to silence me, if none of this was happening to me, if I was some brokey, you wouldn't be paying attention. So again, my money allows me to speak to you and make it clear to you that no matter where you are, you can be in Chicago, Illinois, you can be in Miami, Florida, you can be in Rio de Janeiro, you can be in Bangkok. Today, I want you to walk around and look at the people around you, and I'm telling you, you will see what I see. Call me crazy if you want, don't care. There are demons amongst us, and it is their primary goal to destroy the fabric of society, because the base fabric of society always has been and will be, to a degree, love. You love the people around you, or you love the place you live. You love the beautiful surroundings. You love nature. You love the animals. You love God. You must love something. If you love truly nothing, then it's over. And they can turn us on each other with endless hate. And I talk about this, and I tried to have the conversation with the guy, and it was all over his head, and he just said, I'm crazy, I've lost my mind, I have too much money. And it's kind of a sad revelation, I think, that when you talk about something as spiritual as demons walking amongst us trying to destroy humanity, the only answer I can come up with to fight against them is money. Because it's a spiritual battle, right? And I'm coming up with the root of all evil as solutions, money. But I don't think it's the root of all evil. I think a lack of money is the root of all evil. And I don't think being broke is going to help me fight the demons. Perhaps the Ghostbusters might appear and they'll sell me one of them photon packs, and I know I'll be able to afford one at least. So I'll have me and my team will be photon packed up.